I am giving you. You better come here. And I better remove all my little things. No, I hand over you what is yours, not what is yours. So, this is what is in store. Oh, you can't see. All right. We start all over again.
Yes.
This is what is in store for you. Right? Good.
Constitution. Again, the elbow shake.
This is another cycle, part of another cycle in my life. And I'm just going to tell you a few stories. Some of you know them, others don't know them. First, I believe all power and authority comes from God. So I've been able to reach where I've reached because of God. One of my favorite hymns in church is Count Your Blessings. The blessings God has given me to serve in service to the country, to my family, to my parents. Really, it's a blessing. I've had those blessings. Yesterday I had a wonderful scientific lunch with my children and grandchildren. I even had they made me wear a cowboy dress to indicate that I'm now going to herd cows and goats. That's another aspect of my life. Now let me tell you a story relating to my work and the entanglement I've had with this office. I first came here in March 1975. I had just finished LDC, and LDC had invited me to stay at LDC to teach, and I was not interested in teaching. So they put me on the list to become a magistrate. At that time, there were gaping holes in the judiciary because many magistrates who were Asians had gone and were bound to serve government. So I was put on the list to become a magistrate. So, and we had to come here for the interviews, formally, to be admitted in judicial service. And I saw that as my opportunity not to become a magistrate. So I came here, they gave me a form to fill, applying to join judicial service, and I refused to fill it. At that time, the Judicial Service Commission was actually the Chief Justice and the Chief Registrar. That was the Judicial Service Commission. So I didn't fill my form, and I waited there on a bench. When it was my turn, I came in, I was given a chair here, right in front of this. And Chief Justice Said was seated here, this chair, not necessarily this chair, but here. And the Chief Registrar, Mr. Sendege, was seated there. So they gave me a chair, and then they said, where is your form? I gave it, and the Chief just said, but it is blank. I said, yes. Why didn't you fill it? I said, because I don't want to be a magistrate. And the Chief Registrar, Mr. Sendege, said, Mr. Katurebe, if you don't want to be a magistrate now, then even in the future you must not be heard that you want to join the judiciary. And the chief just said, no. Maybe in the future you may change your mind. And the chief just said, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to learn to be a lawyer first, then I can think of becoming a magistrate. So where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to the DPP's office. He said, okay, we can't force you. That's how I escaped serving in the judiciary in 1975. So I went to the DPP's office. The next day, I was told to go to the Solicitor General's department, where I stayed for 8 years, rising to the rank of Principal State Attorney. Now, as you can see, I came here to be recruited into the judiciary. I declined it, and years later, I came back to the very same office as Chief Justice. If that's not the work of God, I don't know what it is. Even in the Ministry of Justice, worked very hard there, rose very quickly through the ranks. Then at the end of 1982, I decided I was going to resign. And everybody told me the same thing: you are doing so well, you're one of the best, you can't resign. I said, okay, well, what else can I hope to be? I was already principal. I couldn't see myself becoming a Solicitor General. So I left, went into private practice, and again, many years later, I went back to the same ministry as Minister of Justice and Attorney General. If that's not a blessing of God, then you don't know what that is. So I think God has been with me, and for me, each station I've gone to, be it the years in Parliament or in Cabinet, I saw it as service. Service to the country, service to God, and make my contribution. So in the judiciary, when I was appointed, I looked at the judiciary, the one that I would like to see, because I'd been associated with issues of the judiciary for a long time as Minister of Justice. For example, when I was Minister of Justice and Attorney General is when we passed the Administration of Parliament Act. And then the Chief Justice Wambuzi summoned me to come here for a meeting with all the judges. And we had a meeting in the library there with all the senior judges. And one of the things was you must have an Administration of the Judiciary Act also. And work started on that thing from the beginning, way back in 1998, I think, 97 or 98. So here now, on my last day, last Friday, as I was here, the president rings me and says, I've just signed your bill. I say, okay. So that's my tussle with work with the judiciary. I want to say I have done my best. I'm sure I've made my own mistakes. I'm sure I've made decisions that people didn't like, others liked. But that's what it should be. What I can say is that there is no decision I've made, be it judicial or administrative, where I didn't believe in the good faith of it, irrespective of what other people thought. And to me, that's what is important. That's what makes a judicial officer. Make your decision. Don't be afraid to make a decision because it may not be popular. As long as you are convinced about the validity of it in the law or the way you have perceived the evidence, and your conscience is clear, make your decision. It is better than many of judges, as we are beginning to see, who accumulate judgments. You had a case, 3-4 years down the road, you have not delivered a judgment. That's not being a judge. And I've actually told the principal judge that I think we better now move forward. We write each of these judges who have accumulated judgments, that may be a ground to go to the Judicial Service Commission for incompetence. Because how competent are you if people come to you for judgment? They want to solve their problems. People come because they have problems. And 3 years down the road, you have not solved their problems. So, and you are enjoying the title of judge. I think these are some of the things that I have. Challenges I've met. We have our own internal challenges. I have failed to solve all of them. I believe the new team will identify them and tackle them. Now, what am I going to do? First of all, I want to write my story. I've been working on it for a long time, and I put it in abeyance. I think from today, from tomorrow, I want to sit down with my staff and start telling my story. How a young little boy who grew up grazing goats in Unyaruguru without shoes until I was in secondary school rose to come and sit here. I think that is a story I want my grandchildren to hear about. I'm going to do that. I will be available to the judiciary because my heart still remains with the judiciary. So whenever you invite me for consultation, for induction, for whatever, if my time allows, I will definitely be there for the judiciary. And I think I will go and venture into trying to help people solve issues. I've been a very fervent admirer of mediation. And I hope when I settle down, maybe next year, to start doing that. Not litigation, not arbitration, nothing, but help people. I've seen it work when you help people to solve their own dispute. It is quicker and easier and a win-win situation. I hope we can establish this in Uganda and it becomes a way of doing things.